There is so much bad news out there that I just can't take it. I got to get me some good news once in a while. So we're going to be talking about Uber. We're going to be talking about cars that last a long, long time. We're going to be talking about other companies and industries electrifying. There's so much good news that I simply must bring in my good buddy Mark from the Tesla Life to help me get through it all. I'm Brian. Welcome to Future Ozza. Mark, you ready for some good news?
Am I ever?
It's been a fun week. I've only just once tried out Actually Smart Summon, and it actually dumb summoned. And it's funny that when I was a guest on your show this week, I didn't hear the part where Casey shared his experience was exactly like mine, where it summoned halfway and then just blocked.
And just blocked. And said, I'm done. That's it.
You know what? I think this is a good place to park and shut off the headlights and just hang out. That's what I'm about. So, and then of course, I have not received yet. By the time this goes out, I'm sure I'll have gotten my invite to 1010. So, this is a neat one. Navigate from your Tesla display on Uber. Yes, on Uber itself, there is native Uber integration into the car. How cool is that?
Exactly. I'm sure a number of Uber drivers are happy to see this after a long time coming.
Yeah, I feel like having the additional device, the battery, having to keep it charged, having to keep all that is using your data instead of your premium data that you're already paying for. Who needs it, man? Who needs it?
Yeah.
So I'd say that's good news, right?
Absolutely. It's a plus. If you can eliminate some of the extra work that you have to do with maybe a secondary device, and you can use that nice 15-inch screen in front of you or larger, then why not? It makes a lot of sense. But what I am curious about is who pushed this forward? Was this promised to Uber some time ago? Did they pay for this? How was this actually happening?
Didn't they? That's right. A while back, didn't Elon start following someone at Uber? I imagine that's when the talks began. Maybe. Guys, what do you think about the whole Uber situation? It's not going to help millions of people, but it'll help a lot of people. And if you're one of those people, this could be a very valuable tool. And if you don't like it, don't use it. Tesla owner who's driven 144,000, a gross 1,000 miles over 6 years, reveals the staggering amount he's saved on gas. Do you know Andy Slye?
I don't know him personally, but I know him through YouTube.
Yeah, of course. He's pretty great. Tech guru and automobile fanatic, I'd say those are both accurate, posted a video about his Model 3. The IT specialist said he'd bought Ultra Red for $54,000 in 2019. Wow. Time really passes, man, and it looks great. Exactly 6 years ago, I did something crazy, spent more than I ever thought I would. I've racked up over 144,000 miles and 1,800 on a PPF. That's a good deal these days, isn't it? Oh, just to wrap the front.
Yeah.
To wrap the front of his motor. Well, that's an article written by AI.
Because everybody PPFs their motor.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look anything. I can't see it. I got one speeding ticket every year for the first 3 years, so I ended up getting this radar detector, and it's been worth, okay. I don't drive that fast. He also claimed, new sets of tires. Great.
Yep.
Now let's, $2,700 for tires over the course of 144,000 miles. That's not bad. He's getting 40,000 plus.
Yep.
To a set.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So let's get to the numbers. So that brings my total charging costs. So he has his total cost of ownership, 75,000 with everything, the car, the PPF on the motor, the floor mats. The annual cost of gas is 3,300. Meaning he's made a whopping savings. So he's spent 4,200 on charging total instead of 3,300 per year. So he's saved $6,000, $8,000 in charging.
Yep.
To say nothing of the maintenance and oil changes and all that he didn't do. What kind of maintenance costs have you had?
Extremely low. I've had a couple of I've had a upper control arm change. I've had the
But that was
rear.
under warranty?
Nope. I had
Oh,
one under warranty and one I had to pay for, and then a couple rear knuckles, and of course, set of tires. That's it.
the rear knuckles sounds unpleasant. So, getting
We won't
Fisker
go any
Ocean.
further. Trust me. That's it.
No, no, no. No, definitely not past the knuckles. Getting Fisker Oceans fixed just got way easier. New service locations are open for business and equipped with the diagnostic tool.
That is a big plus for a bunch of owners that thought they were completely high and dry.
The group says it worked with Fisker to facilitate access to their diagnostic tools, but more hurdles remain. So this is good. I've seen a couple of these at car shows since things went south, and the owners are, disappointed but not furious. I mean, they're still out showing it off, and everyone is very nice to them, like they have cancer.
But Brian, do you sense worry in those owners?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. There are people who've had their car sitting in the driveway for 6 months, unable to move. So it's a good thing to have this access, says Clint Bagley, an early Fisker buyer and communications consultant who volunteers as the Fisker of America's spokesman. I assume that's what FOA is. Yeah, Fisker
Yep.
Owners Association. Yeah. Yeah.
There are no paid positions at Fisker anymore.
No. Well, curiosity, is bankruptcy lawyer a paid position? The automaker did not respond to a request for comment. Of course, unfortunate, but that they went as badly as they did. Silver lining, silver lining.
I hope this can help some people, because there are some people that are left pretty high and dry when it comes to service on these vehicles. I've heard the horror stories of people that lost a key and cannot get one reprogrammed. So they've got this vehicle that's just can do nothing. Like it's terrible.
Chevy Silverado EVs already selling for cut rate prices from Hertz. So they're trimming their EV fleet. So even though it's a brand new car, they're like, you know what? Get them out. Selling them around $63,500. So this is, I'd say, good news for buyers. Bad news for Hertz. They made some world-class missteps, but for a fleeting moment in time, their stock was doing great. So if you are looking for one, jump on and see if you can find if any are out there.
Yeah, not many. See, the title says 35 being sold. That's it.
Well, listed for sale presently. They may have more that will be coming up in a week or 10.
Oh, true.
Yeah, because when people I missed the $20,000 Hertz Model 3, they came back. Sometimes they're even less. But yeah, that's a bunch of them. With no miles on them. Brand new, 6,000 miles. My gosh, that's a heck of a deal. And these are long-range trucks. You've got a 200 plus kilowatt hour battery pack. Yeah. Starts around 96,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh.
1/3 off.
Yeah. Well, they've been driven 6,000 miles, Mark.
Yeah, they're not new anymore. Yep.
No, they still have that new depreciation smell. Now, I don't know if you caught this one. This one I'm pretty excited about. Forest, a mining company, strikes $4 billion Australian dollar deal for electric trucks and dozers to eliminate fossil fuel at giant mines. So this is a company that does iron ore. Billionaire and green energy evangelist Andrew Forrest has struck a $2.8 billion deal for trucks, excavators, and dozers at its huge iron ore mines to help eliminate burning fossil fuel, hoping to reach real zero terrestrial emissions by 2030.
That's a good news story. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And while the price tags can appear higher, that doesn't mean they're actually more costly to operate. And depending on the types of mining, I think I told you this, I had a chance to interview a representative from Caterpillar. Caterpillar? Yes. And we were talking about underground mining trucks, the front loaders.
Yep.
And I said, wow, that's great. You don't have to pump out all that diesel exhaust. And he said, oh, that's not even the best part. The best part is we don't have to pump out the heat. Oh, yeah, that never occurred. Of course, it's going to get fire hot down there eventually.
Yep.
So I think that's just great news. What do you think?
I think the mining industry is a great win, just as the logging industry and some other industries. There have been other mine, and I'm not sure if this is the same type of mine, but there are some mining operations where the trucks are basically going downhill with the load of iron ore. And of course, they can regen the entire way down because they're braking, they're trying to keep the load under control. And when they get to the bottom, they dump the load and they've recouped enough energy to go back up the hill again and get filled. So it's a perpetual mining operation where you spend nothing on the generation of electricity to run the vehicles.
It's the ultimate use case. I love
Yeah.
it. So the last one, and this one isn't good news, it's funny news because it's so incredibly terrible. National Review is saying electric vehicles Euro trashed. You get it, Mark, because it sounds like, okay. So here we go. The week of it's so dumb. You're going to love it. Sooner or later, there comes a moment when central planners' spreadsheets and targets run into reality, and it's rarely a happy moment. Some years ago, officials in the EU, UK, California, and other dim bulb jurisdictions, what are we doing here, Andrew? What are we doing? Came up with the idea of imposing a quota system on automakers to encourage them to switch more rapidly to EV production. They'd stipulate a certain increasing percentage must be made up by EVs, and if they don't hit it, they would have a fine. Buyers proved to be interested, but not in the numbers that the planners had assumed, partly because of cost, partly because of their intrinsic flaws, Mark. You know, the intrinsic flaws. And partly because the infrastructure was not in place to support EVs at the pace they were supposed to be rolled out. You know, my biggest obstacle to getting an EV, Mark, was I had to wait for my house to get power.
Brian, what was your house running on before power? What was it running on?
Whale oil.
Okay.
But, you know, my channel, I don't know if I've told you, but I am bought and paid for by Big Whaling. For anyone wondering, I'm not on the payroll of Big Whale. With bottom-up growth, EV growth, the supporting infrastructure, noticeably charging, would have, as with gas stations in the 20s, developed organically. But in this case, it was driven by top-down pressure, meaning that even at lower than expected sales, the infrastructure was not ready. Talk of charging problems then hit sales. So we're not going to hit sales yet. We're going to continue talking about charging problems. What state has the highest adoption rate, do you imagine, of EVs?
California.
Correct. Have you heard of problems with EV charging in California?
No, I have not.
I have not either. On holiday weekends, you might have to wait a minute to get a spot. But a lot of times you just charge all the way up before you start your journey, and you're halfway out of California by the time you need to charge. Now, with hydrogen, I've absolutely heard problems. Do you know what the number one state for hydrogen automobiles is?
California.
Correct. Did you know there's no number two?
That would not surprise me.
There's no hydrogen. There's no hydrogen, you guys. I mean, I can drive to Burbank. I can drive to Torrance. I can drive back to Burbank. Anywhere I want to go.
Yeah, that's hydrogen is a problem. But electricity, it seems to be everywhere, except for Brian's house pre 3 years ago. But now it's everywhere.
It was very dim. A lot of soot. And of course, we heated the house with baby seals. So then then hit sales. The central planners had not planned for that. And then in the EU, something else happened. Sales of Chinese EVs have been taking market share. This will make it more difficult for European manufacturers to fill their EV sales quotas. I got to check the date on this because my friend, this is from September 24th. You know that China EVs are heavily tariffed, right?
Apparently, this person does not know that.
Andrew, I get that you write for a tabloid that has a paywall that I definitely didn't bypass. The early signs from the UK, where buyers have not been doing their duty, and where a similar regime has come to bite, are that automakers will reduce the supply of traditional cars in order to avoid, we're just going to sell, you know what? Because we can only sell this many EVs, we're going to reduce the total number of cars Andrew. And greenflation, Mark, it's a thing. Greenflation.
Oh, man. It's a thing in Andrew's mind, obviously.
I don't think there's anything in Andrew's mind. I don't know who paid him to write this. I hope it wasn't the National Review. I hope, Andrew, for your sake, that someone somewhere bribed you to push this one out because it's hot and steamy, and I do not wish to breathe it in any longer, so I will not be sharing any more of this wet turd.
Was Andrew paid in seal pelts?
Yeah. For fun, though, I will show you how long the article is because it goes on for days. Oh, Andrew, we should charge EVs with you. Look at this. We're finally down to the end. Oh. Oh. It's great. It's good stuff, my friend. It's good stuff. Truly the worst. Any closing thoughts before we wish our friends well?
Were you able to get that soot off of your roof in any problems with that?
No, why would I? The house smells like delicious whale. You know,
how far north do you really live, Brian?
I towed it back with my little boat, skinned it on the front yard. My friend of mine in college delivered pizzas for like 3 years. And I swear to you, the junkyard still smells like pizza because
where the car went. Yeah.
Where the car went. Yeah. And the car isn't even there anymore, but my God, for the remaining 5 years he had that car, you're just like, gee, did you deliver it today? No, it's just part of it. It's in the soul.
It's in it.
But fortunately, that's what my whole wardrobe certainly smells. Yeah, it smells like whale. It's lovely. You love it. So, yeah. Okay, guys, what do we miss? What do we misunderstand? Leave it in the comments below. Head over to the Tesla Life Show. See what Mark, Patrick, and Casey are up to. There's some fun guys. And everybody else, like, subscribe, do the usual. If you get a chance, it might not hurt you too substantially to remind you that I live and breathe and am able to buy groceries from the generosity of patrons like you. If you can't afford it, do not fret. I will manage to get by. I don't want you to help out if it causes you any hardship of your own. That's not what this is about. But like, subscribe, and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots from the belly of the whale.